This is the way.
We're wanted men.
I have spoken.
Welcome to episode 128 of the Smugglers Galaxy podcast, your favorite Star Wars podcast for smugglers in the galaxy. I'm Glenn. If I'm sounding a little echoey today, it's because we just moved back into the house. I'm in my new office and I have no pictures up and it's sounding echoey to me, but I guess we'll decide later. Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am awesome. It's been a long month, but we're in the house and we still got a lot of moving to do, and I got pictures to hang to get this echo down. But yeah, we're good. I'm tired. Things are fine here. How are you?
I'm good.
I just asked
I'm
you.
still good.
You're still good.
Nothing's changed in the past 30 seconds. I'm still good.
Yeah, I'm looking around. I'm still in shock that we're back in the house. The echo's is the echo that bad to you? Or I may just be here. You know what? Let me do this.
No, there is an echo.
Is it bad?
I'm living with it. It's not like driving me nuts.
Okay,
it's not a delay. It's just an echo.
It's just an echo because I don't have anything in this room yet. The contractor told me I can't hang any pictures yet because they're still doing final touch-ups and things.
Yeah.
So it's just a bare room. So welcome to my echo.
Your echo chamber.
Yeah. Plus I'm also, I think because I'm wearing my hearing aid, so I'm hearing everything like double. I'm hearing stuff
Really
that
playing with you because this is a tangent.
Yes, it is.
This has been a long tangent.
Sorry.
How's your week?
There, that's better. Okay, it was good. It was good. It was long. Like I said, we moved back into the house yesterday. So yeah, it was all right. Not a whole lot of stuff that I picked up. I am feeling a little off this morning. I'm sorry, but it's maybe because, like I said, I'm in a new room. My room, it was all right. We did the paint thing last night with the Georgia Club, so that was fun. How was your week?
It was good. I got the Gauntlet, Micro Galaxy Squadron Bo-Katan's Gauntlet, but Amazon shoved it in a box too small, so it was like curved up the card back. So I'm trying to flatten that out, but I might just try to find one in store and open up this one because the Gauntlet is a pretty cool ship.
Oh, it's it's one of the really cool ships. I think they put maybe the wings are a little weird to get it to move around, but because I think they're playing a game with them because you don't want it too loose, but you don't want it too hard, and so they don't spin on their own. But I do love that ship. That is quickly becoming my favorite Star Wars ship.
And then our buddy Jordan went down to Disney. He had fun. I talked to him briefly. He said Guardians of the Galaxy is now his favorite roller coaster there. It's goodbye Everest, but he did come back with the Micro Galaxy Falcon for me, the Batu version with Vi, R5, and Hondo Anaka. Hello, my friends. So I got that now.
Awesome. Yeah, he was, because I'd got him a king cake and he had come by and he was like, yeah, everything was good until I got Jason this huge box to put take home. So I couldn't get a lightsaber because I had to bring Jason back his Micro Galaxy Squadron.
No, that's not how that happened.
No, it wasn't that bad. He was just been making fun. We were just giving you grief. But I think the only thing I picked up is yet another He-Man because I was at Target and they had Beastman on sale for like half price. So I picked him up.
The other thing I did was I ordered, this guy on eBay makes Black Series heads custom, just the heads. 3D sculpts them, 3D paints them. And so there's the Tonica sisters. So there are two sisters that are in the background of the cantina. So I bought the heads; those should be here tomorrow. But I also bought two Aura Singh bodies. Or I bought Aura Singh Black Series, stripped everything off of them, painted them, got them primed and ready for their heads. So in a couple of days, I should have custom Tonica Black Series sisters for my 3D printed cantina, which is
That
cool.
is awesome. Dude, I am enjoying the way you're doing that, and it does make me feel like, Hasbro should be able to do more with what they're doing. I don't want to get on a Hasbro tangent, but it just shows you how simple things would be to fix if somebody would just look at it.
I do need to rant because I very much enjoy this hobby, but it's just gotten to the point where everybody is just out to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
And it is getting increasingly frustrated. Last night we had the meetup, we had dinner at the restaurant, we had the paint night, which we'll get into in a minute, but it was just refreshing to be with fellow collectors and not worrying about making a quick buck or exchanging money, or it was just about hanging out and enjoying each other's friendship and having a good time together. It wasn't about money. And I saw this week, the Sabine TIE Fighter is going for $400-$500. I've hit maybe 6-7 different Walmarts. No, there's more than that this week, because I actually went all the way up to Charlotte. And on the way back, I slowed myself down because I didn't want to hit Atlanta traffic. So I stopped at different Targets to try to find stuff. And I continuously feel like I'm always 5 minutes too late. They have everything but any chases. And then I go on eBay and I see the Sabine going for $400-$500. Somebody sold all of Series 1, including the San Diego Comic-Con TIE Fighter, which was limited to 500. This is a real sold number, $10,000.
What?
Yeah, that's an actual number. Somebody sold all of Micro Galaxy Squadron Series 1 for that amount.
See, I'm wondering if I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm wondering if like somebody's messing with somebody on eBay and then it gets up that high and they don't pay it.
It's possible. What do I know? I mean, I only see what the completed auction says, but and then there's that new book that just hit. We went to Narayan's last weekend, and he had that giant book, which is incredible. It's gorgeous. I'm on the wait list, but this week on Deal or No Deal, you got 3 or 4 of those books. People are trying to just turn that and flip that for a quick buck, and it's just, I'm just frustrated with it. I'm getting sick and tired of it.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
Everybody wants to make money. Yes, of course. This is a capitalistic society, and that's the thing. But it's just everywhere, and it's just a little disgusting.
Well, it's like that when anything in time you're going to do like a limited edition thing. You're going to have people that buy it just to hold on to it to flip it.
Yeah.
So like that book was a limited edition book, and now people are they're FOMO. FOMO's real, and people are willing to pay. What didn't one go for like $1,000?
I think it sold for $550, but then someone came in at the last second or after it was sold for $1,000. So we'll see if they actually honor the deal for $550 or if they're going to be chasing the $1,000.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, I just saw that pop up on the trash group, and I haven't had time to really get into it with the whole Facebook thing because I've been kind of preoccupied.
I also want to say because I have another Hasbro article here. I don't like reporting the negativity of Hasbro week after week after week, but they're just making it easy for themselves to just like trip and fall. And yet again, they've done something here to devalue one of their brands. And I struggle with this because I don't want to be the podcast where we just dump on Hasbro week after week, but things keep coming up and they're not making a turn. They're not changing their ways. And as somebody who collects the modern stuff, it's just, I think it's worth looking at. And the other thing I was thinking about this because I do struggle with it, but ESPN is $1 billion business. People dissect, they analyze, they talk about what went wrong with games, what went good with games, and nobody questions it. And they're like, no one's like, oh, you're being just negative all the time. They're evaluating, they're looking at facts. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be negative. I don't have an agenda to try to knock down Hasbro. They're just doing it themselves.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I had a point to make, and I just don't know where I was going. But yeah, no, yeah. Hold on. Now I know where I was going. You know what? I know you gripe about not wanting to be the negative podcast, but when we're the negative podcast, the numbers show really good.
Yeah,
for that.
That's another problem right there. That's why you see all the crap on YouTube, because they do get rewarded for negative content. Because negative content is what people tune into. They want to see people angry. They want to see people upset. And that's really it's frustrating. Right. It's just the whole system's frustrating.
Yeah.
I struggle with it. Yet again, on Market Insider, Business Insider, there was an article this week by Matthew Fox. The title was "Hasbro's Killing Its Golden Goose by Destroying the Long-Term Value of Magic the Gathering," Bank of America says in a scathing downgrade call. So Bank of America follows closely with stocks and stuff. They spoke with shop owners, collectors, a couple other places I can't remember, to analyze Magic the Gathering. As we said last week, Wizards of the Coast is about 70% of their value, of Hasbro's value. They said that the stock is overvalued. If it's currently $73, it should be worth $42, because what Hasbro's doing is they're destroying the long-term value of Magic the Gathering. People during COVID obviously had extra funds. They were just like Star Wars, investing in Magic the Gathering, buying cards that are of value, stuff that they can hold on to and play with. And they probably saw it as an investment. Hasbro's gone back, started to overproduce for a quick buck. They started, there's like a $999 pack with cards that Hasbro said would never be printed again in this pack. So essentially it's like a paywall. You can buy the cards that are worth more than, you get a bunch of out of print cards reprinted for yourself in this mega pack. I would imagine it saves you some money somehow in the secondary market. However, if you were the one who bought those cards during COVID, you'd be pretty upset right now that they're just making a quick buck and reprinting the cards, devaluing the cards that you bought.
Well, here's the kicker with that set is they're not sanctioned. So you can spend $1,000 on that card set and then you don't get to use it to play with.
So what is it, just like?
It's a collector's item, something you put on a shelf.
So you can't use them?
Nope. You cannot use them in an event. They're unsanctioned cards.
Wow.
So that's their workaround, thinking that unsanction the cards so that you could use them. People will still buy it, but then people are mad because it doesn't decrease the value of the original card because you can't use it in a event or a game.
Yeah. Bank of America said the card game generates 15% of Hasbro's revenue. They also said that they're overproducing cards. In the article, there's a quote: "Players can't keep up as wallet fatigue is real," Bank of America said.
Yeah, well, I feel that in Star Wars, and I think it's kind of affected. I think that's why we're where we're at with Star Wars.
Yeah. So if they're mistreating this to the point where Bank of America is taking notice and saying the stock is just not worth it, what else are they doing to all the other brands? I mean, what they do to one's probably what they're going to do to another.
Yep.
And it's sad. It's frustrating. This has nothing to do with the Star Wars team, G.I. Joe team, Marvel team. This is top brass. This is the leadership at the top of the company making bad decisions to make a quick buck. There's no respect for the collector. It's only respect for the dollar. And as this article kind of says, the collectors are getting frustrated and they're going to pull out because they don't have the money to keep up. They don't have the money to invest in the hobby. And so there might be a whole crash in this whole thing, for Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I could see it coming, man, because that's what is happening with us.
Speaking of negativity, I saw that Star Wars premiered or showed for lack of a better term, Jedi babies. I can't. What was it called? The Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures.
Oh, I
There's a new
saw
show
that.
coming out this week.
Okay.
And I saw people dishing crapping on this thing too.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like, this is not for you. You don't need to consume every single piece of Star Wars content. Star Wars has
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
they have a generational problem. The people who grew up with Star Wars are aging out, and they don't have a younger audience to kind of support this thing long term. You know, that you want it to be a continuing franchise. You don't want it to be just 20 more years and then we're done.
Right. Exactly.
So this is to help establish, to get new people into the franchise. But people were dumping on it, saying this is the end, this is Disney. And it's like, you guys need to see the bigger picture. This is not for you.
Right. It's Disney, yeah, because you got to latch on to the 5 and 6-year-olds now, so that in 20 years or 10 years, then they'll turn into teenagers and want to buy your product, and then they'll want to go to the Disney parks. They'll want to, they have $4 billion invested in Star Wars. Do you think they're just going to let it die off and let it become another model train or 12-inch GI Joe? No, they don't want to do that to Star Wars.
No. Seamaster Yoda, Jedi younglings Kai, Lise, Nubs, and their friend Nash, and RJ-83 in Return of the Jedi 83, RJ-83.
Look at that.
That was on purpose. In Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures, premiering on Disney Plus and Disney Junior, May 4th. The series, takes place during the High Republic area, around 200 years before the Skywalker saga, and focuses on these younglings in the Jedi Order training in the ways of the Force. During their adventures, they learn compassion, self-discipline, teamwork, patience, and friendship together.
Oh, friendship. And I also think a lot of people, Star Wars is bigger than the Skywalkers, man. Yet people need to let go of the Skywalkers. I know it was a little weird for me to let go of, the Fab Four, but once you let go of the Fab Four, man, Star Wars is a huge universe.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, bring it on. That's why I'm looking forward to like Damon Lindelof stuff. If it's outside of the Skywalker saga, if they want to bring Daisy in, that's fine. However, let's see new characters. Let's go on new adventures. Let's see different parts of the galaxy. Look at the Mandalorian. They folded in Skywalker to that, but it's not Skywalker's story. It's Mandalorian's story and the Mandalorians, and I think they're doing a great job with that. I want more of that.
Right.
Rogue One, same thing. Very little involvement with the Skywalker saga. I want more of that. Andor was great.
You're right. There's a lot bigger world out there, people. Yeah, and just shut up and let people in. I don't understand why people can't let people enjoy their Star Wars. Why you just can't shut up and let people enjoy your Star Wars. It's okay. It's okay that people like the sequel trilogy. People obviously out there like the sequel trilogy. Just stop being gatekeepers, man. You called me out for being a gatekeeper last night, and I wasn't even being one.
I did?
Or somebody did. It may have been Tony, because Tony, we were giving each other crap all night, and the lady giving the paint thing was like, everybody picks on Tony. It's like, well, because it's fun. And
Tony
he sits
picks
there and
on me.
takes it. Yeah, it's a thing, with everybody.
But last night was great. Let's flip this around, because I feel like we've been too negative. And last night was fun, and let's report back in on our first paint night with Painting with a Twist.
That was so much fun. That was my first. So it was an idea you came up with.
It's Tim Connor.
Oh, Tim Connor came up with that idea. Wow, way to go, Tim! Because everybody that we talked to last night enjoyed that. We've been not struggling, but we've made a habit of trying or push the envelope, I guess, or wanted to really get into doing things other than just meeting at people's house. And Tim came up with this idea. I thought it was you, but anyway, long story short, of painting doing a paint night, and you did all the research, and you found a place in Sandy Springs that Painting with a Twist. What was the lady's name? That Kimberly?
Oh, Sydney was. Kimberly owns the place.
All right, so Sydney was our paint lady that showed us how to paint. She was great. I was trying to be the guy that, because she was like, everybody's quiet. So I was trying to get the room going again, and I told my wife, was I being too big, too loud and obnoxious? And she's like, somebody had to be. basically, to get the room going. So that, but it was fun. It was because we start going. So we had picked out like a Vader. I was a little upset that I didn't think the print was the same one we picked out. It was close, but it wasn't the same one. Am I wrong?
No, that's what we picked.
Okay. I thought it was going to be like Van Gogh-y.
No, Yoda. So there was a Grogu with his hands up, and you just see his back, and it looked like he was controlling leaves or something like that. And it was like Starry Night with the leaves. The whole background was moving, and that
Okay.
was one of the options. But this was overwhelmingly everybody wanted Vader.
Well, because it was a badass photo.
Yeah,
And it looks great. All right, so never mind then. So yeah, she was great. And well, where was I going? So she had first time, we get going, and she's like, "Oh, you're going to be here for 2 hours," and I'm like, "Oh crap, 2 hours! This is going to take forever." And it was done in a minute.
yeah, it flew by.
Yeah, and yeah, it's like a Darth Vader looking out of a window, and there's a Star Destroyer, and there's a planet, and yeah, it was just a fun time. It was, like I said, it was the first time I did it. You and your wife were sitting there kicking ass. Yeah, because you guys obviously know what you're doing with the paintbrush. I have no clue. And she was kind of doing stuff, and there was like a window, so it looks like there's literally like lines, like almost ruining the painting in my mind. But then people were like, "Oh no, I'm going to do the windows in gray," or and add a little bit to it. And I'm like, "Oh, that's why that's what it's supposed to look like."
Yeah.
So, but no, it was, dude, I think we should do that like once a year. I don't want to do it often because I'm going to have a whole bunch of hand done paintings and I'm going to be like, what are we doing? But, no, it was a lot of fun. What was your input?
I was relieved that I was, as the person planning the whole thing and the person who like lives and dies by the clipboard and the clock.
Yeah.
I was just relieved that everybody showed up, everyone had fun, that the timing worked out because we had dinner at 5. We were 10 minutes away. We were at this place called Hearth Pizza Tavern.
Yeah, that was awesome too.
Which I've never eaten at before. It was close. It was pizza, so I figured it would be fast, and it had good reviews on Google. So I booked that. They said the only place they could seat 17 people were in the patio, but there's heaters out there. I'm like, okay, let's do it. But then it started raining that day, so I had anxiety about everybody sitting outside. Turned out it was enclosed. They had like the plastic walls down. The heat was perfect. It was like coming down in a way where it kept everybody warm. We all showed up. Everybody was just having fun, hanging out, talking. Service was great. They were very responsive because at one point I was like, we need to be out of here by 7 because we have a thing at 7. We need, be out here by like 6:45. She brought the food out in time. She gave us our checks in time. Everything worked out really well, and that was great. And then the painting part was awesome, very engaging. Everybody had fun. It was a blast, and I'm very thankful to have that experience with friends that we can hang out and not have to buy, trade, check out collections. It's just about being with each other now.
Yeah, that was probably the best part is we didn't have to worry about looking at a collection. We were just hanging out, like you said, enjoying a meal and then enjoying an activity to where it was free enough to where, or loose enough to where we could give each other crap. We could talk. Although not many people were talking, I think a lot of people were concentrating on what to do
on the painting. That was good about dinner because everybody got to hang out and talk there.
Right. Mandy had made a point or made a statement during dinner. She was like, I wish they would have like a big round table so that everybody could, you could interact with people easier than it being like a bowling alley. But
yeah,
it was still fun. What I need to do, because we sat apart but at paint, we sat together, but I need to start because it's like, I want to hang out with you. I want to hang out with Ryan. I want to hang out with my friends, but then also I want to meet new people. And I think I need to make a point of, doing that, meeting new people, hanging out with different people sometimes.
I purposely sat in the middle of that long table. There was a whole thing on Curb Your Enthusiasm about sitting in the middle of a table at dinner table.
Uh-huh.
What is it? Not a dinner table, a dinner party, because the middle controls the conversation. And so he was being held responsible for having a bad dinner party because he sat in the middle and he didn't have conversation. So I was joking with my wife, I need to be like on my game tonight because I'm in the middle and this whole thing could go south if I'm not engaged in conversation or if I'm not provoking great conversation. So that was a whole thing. But yeah, I just sat in the middle. I just let the cards play where they are. Whoever sits next to me sits next to me.
Right. No, it was a good night. The pizza was good. It kind of came. Yes, everything was awesome, but it came like at 6:30, and everybody's looking at their clocks, going, "We got to eat now because we got to leave in 15 minutes." That was probably the only bummer of the night was the food took. But once everything was good, it was ready. You know, it was fast rather. But
it didn't feel like people were like hounding down their food.
Right.
Like hurry up, we got 5 minutes. It was, I mean, yeah, there was pressure. It was like, don't lollygag, but at the same time, I don't think everybody felt like they were forced to shove things in their mouth.
Right. And it was the right kind of pizza to do that with because it was a nice thin crust.
Yeah.
It was like the wood fire
really
thin crust, like make your own pizza type place. That was great.
Really good. And then so we get there for paint night and everybody just it's just like everybody showed up at the same time. I'm like, oh, we're on time. This is about to happen. We all settled in. She had Star Wars music playing the entire time. Some of it was like remixes, and everyone's just like, what's going on? They had like a Rocky and Mandalorian remix at some point and playing, and it was kind of cool, and started rolling with it, and it was a good time. And at the midway point, I was like, oh, it's 8:00. We're taking a break, and we flipped it over and we started painting. We flipped over our canvas and we started painting pigs on the back of it. Had I realized it was a competition, I would have thrown my wife and I would have thrown the competition and not done a good job on purpose because it turned out to be a competition, and we were up on stage and everyone was voting for they're voting for their favorite between me, my wife, and Skippy.
Right. And I kind of feel after I said, because I called the two of you out and then I called Skippy out, and then everybody went with that. I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But y'all three really did. There was like one or two others. I don't remember who they were that could have gotten thrown in there, but after you looked around, but yeah. I think everybody was just like Jason and Shannon. They didn't even have to look at you guys' stuff. They were like, yeah, Jason goes up there no matter what.
Oh, I'm good. I don't need to be. I'm already a winner. I don't need the world to tell me I'm a winner. I save that for other people.
As he's wearing a Philadelphia Eagles shirt.
Yeah, we'll find out by the time this thing drops if I'm a winner or not. Today, it's Super Bowl Sunday. It's the morning of.
Right.
But yeah.
No, it was a really awesome night. We were driving back, and it did. The only thing that kind of stunk, I guess, because it ran so late. It ran till we left at 9 and it was raining. So I think and there was a big party in like the main room. So there was really nowhere to hang out after we were done painting. So I think everybody just kind of dispersed and everybody did an Irish goodbye. And we were like, where'd everybody go? Everybody's
5 to
gone.
9. I mean, the party's over.
Yeah, we're old people.
It was good.
Yeah.
We've got a collectible. That's invaluable because we did it together.
Yeah, I need to hang mine up somewhere in here.
Yeah, I got to find room for mine too. I have two too.
Yeah, I do too. We'll probably hang them each in our office or something. I don't know. But
yeah, good time. Yeah. Good people. Toylance's next month. I got to start working on the banners for that. Stands for that. We have an exclusive print that I'm very excited about this year that we're going to be handing out at the Georgia booth. We're not doing a fundraiser this year just because. Have we announced all this? Am I just losing?
No, go for it, man. I mean, it's a month away, so go for it.
We've been busy, so we didn't organize an auction this year. So we'll be doing something in the next couple months for that specific purpose to raise money for the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. But we're doing a giveaway at our booth. It's just in a new location. We don't know where we're going to be, if it's going to be conducive for an auction. There's just so many variables that we just couldn't account for or to plan for. So we just decided we're going to have a presence, join the Georgia Alliance, take a print with you. It's a 11 by 17 print of my cantina, basically. It sounds self-serving, but it is a toy print, so hopefully people will enjoy it. There's 300 of them.
Well, you did an awesome job with that. And I think 300 will go a long way. Even if we don't use it all into Atlanta, there'll be another event we can go to to give those out.
Yeah.
Plus, people love free stuff, man.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll take one.
Yeah. Maybe you can sign them.
I could. That'll make them worth like
That would
$5 less.
You're right. That would decrease the value on a free print.
Free print. It's worth $5 less than it was before. Now that my chicken scratches on there, but yeah, it'll be a good time. And that's the next thing. April, we're planning a meetup. We don't have anything there yet. May is in flux. We'll have more concrete stuff in another week or two.
Yep. And
June is Fernando's meetup, and then July is our summer social with another Kennesaw run. I think we're all on board for that.
Yep, that'll be fun. Well, you're putting the pressure on me to get my stuff done in like 2 months. So it was funny. Or however long. I don't know how long. 6 months?
It's like 4.
4? Okay. But while we're bringing stuff upstairs, and it's like every other box had Mandy's name on it. So it's like her office is full of boxes and bookshelves that I have to strap down to the wall, because those IKEA bookshelves, you got to tack them to the wall so they don't flip. So her office is kind of a mess. So, and I need to put acoustic tiles in here, so that would help.
Yeah, that'll help with the echo a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry, people. I was excited to get in here, and
anybody cares.
I don't think they do. We'll get an angry email from somebody, I'm sure.
But what do you think of Bad Batch?
It finally got somewhere this week. Because everybody was complaining that it felt like it was just filler, and everybody's like, "Don't worry, Filoni's got a plan. They know where they're going." And then when they finally give you a hint this week of, I can kind of tell, because it kept the clones defecting and stuff. You were kind of like, well, maybe that's where they're going, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, this week they confirmed that's where they're going with it.
Yeah.
And I think I think I'm also getting a vibe that we are getting 2 different sides of the Empire right now. We're getting, or the Rebellion rather, because you're getting like the form of the Rebellion in Andor and Bad Batch and all that stuff. You're getting the front end of it, and then like Mandalorian, you're getting the back end of it, like the reform of it for the sequels. So I think we're getting a bookend of Rebellion stuff on with the stuff with Disney Plus.
I agree.
Yeah, but no, this weekend, this week's show was a lot better. I kind of like the pod racing, whatever thing they did. The Indiana Jones thing, I'm sure you enjoyed because you're an Indiana Jones guy. And then what other one? Then they did. It really feels like they did, because when they did the book, there was a double episode this week. When the first episode came up, I'm like, oh man, he just went back to Attack of the Clones and did it's all speaking, there's no action. It's all finding and putting things together versus action, which is what Attack of the Clones was. And political stuff. And then the second part kind of brought everything full circle again.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember it, because when we were at my in-laws, every time I turn on Bad Batch to watch it, they're like, there's a Star Wars cartoon on. I'm like, yes, there's a Star Wars cartoon, and I watch it.
It did feel like, so if they ordered, I don't know, was it 16 episodes this season? It did feel like initially they had a 12 episode order, and they're like, let's just throw a couple more extra in there, and they front loaded those because it didn't seem at the time like they had a purpose. Looking back on what's happened now, when I look at Riot Racers or whatever that one was, tech was a major focus. So I think that was a way to get us attached to tech, to again reaffirm. So if you haven't watched season 1 since it was first released, reaffirm his value on the team, his relationship with Omega, so that when he makes his choice at the end of this last episode, spoiler, I'm going to hold off just a few minutes, but we are talking spoilers. So if you haven't seen these, maybe it's time to shut it off or move forward. So when he makes his choice at the last episode, it hits a little bit harder because we're attached to Tech again.
Yeah.
No, wait, not Tech. Freaking Echo.
Echo, which is what I've got going on. Echo.
Sorry.
I didn't understand. I guess I understood why he wanted to do that, but I don't get it. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. Why he has to go for Rex? Why did he leave with Rex? Like that just seemed to come out of the blue.
Yeah,
it was a sharp turn. I didn't see coming.
No, I didn't either. It was like, unless they plan on bringing somebody else in the fold, maybe they'll get Jesse to come in. But I just don't understand it. That didn't make sense. But then Echo's the guy with the arm and stuff, right? The half computer guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, but it made sense for him to be a part of the club, but now it makes sense for him to go away. I guess, it would, I don't know.
The math didn't add up.
Right.
In my mind, but maybe I need to see more of the episodes as a whole or something, and then it'll come back.
Yeah, I've learned, like I said earlier, that just shut up and enjoy the movie. Shut up and enjoy the show, because it'll make sense eventually.
Yeah, the Indiana Jones episode. I guess there was some sort of tie to an old Knights of the Old Republic thing, but regardless, I thought, this is kind of iffy, and then it started to kick into overdrive, and it explains that this creature was sent to this planet to just destroy it.
Yeah,
which was pretty cool. I don't know, but I like that episode. I thought I thought it got better as it moved along, and then when they got to the clone conspiracy, it just shot things into overdrive. They're treating the clones as characters. They don't have any representation in the Senate, but they're people. It's like that age-old question in Blade Runner. For the lack of, they're robots, they're androids, but they have emotions, they're feelings, they're human without being human.
Mm-hmm.
But they're programmed to die after 5 years. They just want to live, and that's the same thing with these clones. Yes, they were created for war, but now that their purpose is over, they're people in the galaxy now. They have rights.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a very compelling a point in the story.
Right. No.
Cool. And then moving on.
No, I'm trying to come up with a way of saying it the right way. And I don't know if they're bringing it into sort of like what's going on in America today, and bringing that up, making a political statement or not. So like I said, you just kind of shut up and enjoy the show. I don't want to get political.
Then don't open that door, bud.
All right.
No, because I mean, just look up Lucas and there's a bunch of politics there. But anyways, Google it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting, the parallel between Bail Organa working behind the scenes, and then the reveal at the end that there was somebody else working behind the scenes as well, 12 steps ahead of everybody else.
Yeah. It just shows how bad Palpatine really is. And I'm still trying to understand why he was working both sides, unless, because, you're the head of both sides. So just deal with it. I don't know. Maybe that was his grand plan to get the Emperor, is you're dealing with, you're playing both sides against each other.
Yeah.
And then you get what you want. But maybe I just missed a big plot point. I don't know.
I think that he had two different plans played out, that either A, Rampart finally convinces everyone that we need the Imperial Stormtrooper program, or if B happens, we throw him under the bus and we use this as an excuse to start the Imperial Stormtrooper program.
Yeah.
And well,
go ahead. Go.
And it just so happens they did get the evidence, they did get the proof, but Palpatine decided, we're going to just go with plan B. We're going to use that for our advantage. And we're going to throw Rampart under the bus, and we're going to say, we just need stormtroopers now. We don't need clones.
Yeah. It shows you how much of a manipulator Palpatine really is. And like you said, he knows It feels like it kind of did the same thing that every bad guy does. He knows what's going to happen, and he's got 2 or 3 different plans, like you said.
I think if Luke Skywalker never came around,
Mm-hmm.
the universe would never have changed. It would have been controlled under the Sith forever. But it was because of the relationship between, and I think as they make more content, this just becomes more and more apparent that Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker are key to saving the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they know it or not, that is the thing that Palpatine just didn't calculate. He had everything else planned, but it was just that duo that really is his downfall and his confidence in Darth Vader. And if it wasn't for Luke Skywalker coming along, nothing would have changed.
Right. I mean, he was the chosen one, and I think it kind of, Darth Vader brought balance to the Force. It took a long time for him to do it.
Yeah.
Or Anakin rather, and maybe that fell on his son a little bit too, because Qui-Gon could have been like maybe wrong, not wrong, but it was the second generation that ended up having to do it, not
right.
the one he was looking at.
Right. So, but yeah, I thought the last 2, and I didn't even realize there was a second episode dropped this week. I had watched the first one and I'm like, oh, I got to go do something. So I just turned off the TV, and then on Facebook, someone had pointed out like the rest of the release schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And it said that there was 2 episodes dropped this week. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I started watching the second episode just yesterday, maybe.
Right.
And Ian McDermott returned as the Emperor. I mean, it was just all incredible. It was all great. It's just kind of funny how the Senate stuff is interesting now in cartoon form, and it seemed lifeless and flat in live action.
That's because George Lucas isn't directing the cartoon form.
Yeah, maybe he's got writers writing it, and he was more probably concerned with getting from point A to point C than
right.
Sure, point B and C felt good.
And I did think it was menacing. That was, as much as I don't like the Emperor, that was badass how like they're arguing and he just comes through the middle of that hologram, and he's like, well, we're going to do this way. And Rampart's just freaking out. And it just proves that you're only worth, as long as you're worth something. Once you're not worth anything to the Emperor anymore, he's going to get rid of you.
Wasn't there a comment made earlier in the season, or maybe it was the episode before, but the Emperor is not, or Palpatine is like aloof. He doesn't show up that much.
Yeah. It was a couple episodes before that.
Yeah. So when he does show up, it's to mic drop, like, this is what we're doing. And then he just probably goes back into hiding. Like, he only shows up, everybody is beneath him, and he doesn't need to waste his time with them unless it's serving his time. Right. So when he shows up, he's making big moves, and then he goes back into the darkness. And I thought the use of that is perfect. Chef's kiss.
No, it was good. I just hope they don't make Dave Filoni the head of Lucasfilm, because I need him creating content. I don't need him running the show.
Yeah, I would imagine there's a producer somewhere that they've been training in the background, who's going to take over Lucasfilm. There's also rumors of Feige, but I don't know if Feige's going to do that. Or if he does, it's not anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I heard a rumor he's there until he's up to like phase 10 of the MCU, and then it's going to conclude. I don't know. That's just a rumor right now, but we're on phase 5 for those keeping score. So I don't think he would move over to Star Wars until after that time.
Okay.
But I agree with you. Filoni and Favreau. I mean, Favreau seems to me like the best choice for taking over Lucasfilm.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he would. I think he's too busy storytelling. I mean, when you look at Book of Boba Fett, he wrote most of those episodes. I think there's some sort of deal that he has with Lucasfilm where he needs to write X amount of episodes and he'll get X amount of revenue. I think there's some sort of tie there. That could have been just another rumor at the start of the whole thing, but like, he redid his deal at some point. And so he's probably writing on Ahsoka, or Filoni's writing on Ahsoka. And so they've got some sort of thing going on. And I don't see them stepping away from the storytelling to run Lucasfilm.
Right. I still think it's funny when I'll see like Jon Favreau on like shoot, I lost the train of thought. That movie that he first did, the Swingers. And then you see him show up on all these shows like 20 years ago, all these movies 20 years ago, and you're just like, that's the dude that's in charge of Star Wars. That's saving our asses from bad content, and it's just so weird.
Yeah, he was the clown on Seinfeld. He appeared on Friends at one point. So yeah, it's funny now.
Yeah,
it's funny how things can change for someone.
All right, dude, are you caught up on The Last of Us?
Yeah.
All right. You want to talk about it for a minute?
Sure.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. We're oh my God. That is I mean, the first episode, I was kind of like, what is the big deal with this? But once they get over setting everything up, the storytelling in that is phenomenal.
Yeah. I don't like Pedro Pascal playing almost the same kind of stoic, quiet, hard ass protecting the next generation. There's too many similarities, and I'm like, he's gonna get typecast.
He's working on it quite well, but it is funny to watch, to see all the Baby Yoda memes. Like there was one of them in the pickup truck, and Baby Yoda's in the window going, "You're in my seat." So the Baby Yoda memes and the Mandalorian memes are pretty epic that you're getting with this show.
Yeah. I have to say the third episode is probably some of the best TV I've seen in the past few years. That was an incredible, emotional, impactful, beautiful episode. And it took me by surprise.
Yeah, I need to rewatch that one because yet again, I'm watching it with my in-laws, and we watched about half of it and then came back to it. And my in-laws watched the second half with it, and they had no clue what was going on. Yeah. And, they're asking questions, and it's like, just let me enjoy this. So I think I need to rewatch that second episode, or third episode, because it if you're not expecting it, you don't know what's going on. It does kind of take you by shock a little bit.
Yeah. I love how they use the secondary characters to make a point with the primary characters. I think they did that really well with the parallels in episodes 4 and 5 with the brothers.
Yeah.
It's just really superb, well done storytelling. And I would love to see the showrunner on this one, who was also on Chernobyl. Did you watch Chernobyl?
I love Chernobyl. That was such a good movie.
Guy. Bring him over to Star Wars, man. Let's see him make a Star Wars show, because it's just incredible storytelling.
Yeah, no. And then, the end of, I literally finished watching episode, was it 5? Is it already on episode 5?
Yeah, on 5.
I watched that this morning, and the end of that, you're just like, oh crap.
I didn't like the one zombie who seemed, I know it's based on a video game. He seemed like a big boss level video game. Like, I can almost see like the cut scene where he's coming up, and then you cut to me with the gun, boom, 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 and I got to figure out how to kill this guy.
I did tell my wife, I said, with this being based on a video game and having played, I mean, not a lot of video games, but you play enough video games, you understand, okay, this is a cutscene, because you could feel the setup. Because from what I understand, it pretty much is lifted right from the video game.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. I thought that it was not going to be a herd of zombies. I thought it was going to be a big, just one big, huge monster that came out of that hole. But you can definitely feel the setup every time that they do a cutscene. You're like, oh yeah, this is straight out of the video game. But I saw somebody complaining, or it was a meme or something. He was like, I busted my ass on this video game so I can figure out what happened next. And then you just spoil it with a damn TV show.
Yeah.
So
storytelling is great storytelling.
Yeah. It makes me want to go back and play the video game. I was kind of surprised because I've never played it. And then you hear that they're making a video game, and you're like, a video game turning it into a TV show. And I was really curious how it was going to react and how it was going to cross over. And you don't even know. I mean, unless you've played, like I said, unless you played video games, you have no clue what's happening, that it's based on a video game.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's great. Can't wait for the rest of it to drop.
How many episodes is it?
I think it's 8.
Wow. Is it going to cover both? Do you know if it's going to do both?
It's just season games? 1.
Okay. So season 2.
It's just the first video game. Sorry. Season 1 covers the first video game.
Okay. So season 2 would cover the second video game.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
This is the way.
Yeah.
I did have like a moment of panic this week. I see people are receiving this vintage collection clone Commander Havoc or Arc Commander Havoc,
Uh-huh.
and he's got a variant. He's got
Uh-oh.
like a goatee and sideburns, and then there's a version without. But I'm seeing everybody get it in the mail, or it seemed to me like everyone was getting in the mail, and I'm like, did I miss this? So I went to Walmart, and I see that it was a Walmart exclusive, and then I checked my email because Walmart will email you when you order it.
Mm.
And I didn't find the email, so I'm like freaking out. Like, did I miss a pre-order or something? So finally signed into Walmart, and they say, no, you've already ordered this on October 1st. I think people overseas are starting to get it, and that's how they're seeing that there's a variant. But I did pre-order it, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah, the people overseas get the stuff way before we do. I guess just because
It's in their backyard. It was just like the first box is coming out of the factory, and it goes 3 blocks to this toy store. It's right there.
I did. Speaking of Walmart exclusives, I saw that Boonta Eve pack or whatever from Micro Galaxy Squadron is supposed to be a Walmart exclusive.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be joyful.
Yeah, they got to back off with the chases. The whole thing is just frustrating. Here we go again.
I know.
Backing off. I'm pumping the brakes. I'm not going to go there.
How do you think I feel? I've been waiting for damn Sabine's TIE Fighter for like 5 or 6 years, and they finally make it, and it's a damn chase of 5,000, and people are jumping on it because you can sell it for $500 on eBay.
That can't be sustainable, though.
No, I have a feeling it's just like with anything. You have people that are wanting it, and it's the FOMO. And I at the very least, I can wait a year or two, and somebody will have it at a toy show for $30.
That's wishful thinking.
It's wishful thinking, or more sustainable, a better number that I can tolerate.
Talking to Matt yesterday about the Powder Springs Toy Show, like he said he's set up a booth and sold stuff. Not like watching all those Black Series, they just sit there. He said the only thing people really want to buy are Marvel Legends opened. Everything else doesn't really sell.
I think people are trying to look for a good deal out there.
Maybe. This is kind of like, I'm just trying to analyze that last night. What does that mean about the hobby? Maybe I don't need to tie it to the entire hobby, but Black Series carded or in box, non-open, just doesn't seem to be anything people are chasing down, or maybe they just don't want to buy the secondary price value of whatever it is.
Well, okay. So speaking of Elijah from Second Chance Toys, I was talking to David and Chance, and he walks up and he shows a baggie, like a gallon Ziploc baggie. He bought the full set of Bad Batch for $35 open. And I was like, I would have bought that. So I think you're right.
Yeah, so I think that's just the target audience for the Powder Springs Toy Show. People aren't looking to spend hundreds of dollars. They've got $20 in their pocket, and they're looking for a deal. They don't want to buy a box thing. They're looking for something open to put on the shelf. So,
but that's also, I think that's that show. I think that Martin's done a good job of marketing that show, knowing, you're going to go there. if you walk in there with a couple of $100, or you're not going to find a $200-$300 item. You may find one $200 or $300 item, but that show is a swap meet. It is, $20-$30 in your pocket. And if you spend it right, you can walk away with a lot of stuff, because that's the market. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, because there's nothing wrong with the good, dirty, I use the word dirty lovingly, dirty toy show.
Yeah, they don't all need to be Toylanta. They can be, let's get together, throw some tables up, and bring your stuff.
Yeah, and that's exactly what that show is, and it's great. I love that toy show. It's just an excuse to get together with your friends, and we need those. You need that camaraderie. That's what we did last night. So, and it worked out great.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah. So, anything else?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm trying to stretch this thing out, but we've had a couple long episodes, so maybe if we had a shorter one this week, it's not that bad of a deal.
No, I mean, we still hit an hour, so I mean, we're good.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, okay. It's 9:30 or 10:30.
In conclusion, I want to be positive. I don't like we say, be a positive force in the collecting community. But it is frustrating sometimes when you see people making the big bucks and trying to make a big buck. I mean, and Hasbro's, fumbling at the at the start at the red zone to tie it back into football because it is Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah. So how bad? What's your prediction of the score?
The Eagles 2073, the Chiefs -12.
Mike Ditka on a
Mike Ditka.
bus with the whole Bears team versus everybody in NASCAR. Who's gonna win? Ditka.
Ditka. The Bears.
The Bears.
Somehow the Bears are going to enter the Super Bowl and they're going to win. They're going to take on the Eagles and the Chiefs at the same time, and they're going to win. And the Bears 2,703, the Eagles and Chiefs -12.
The Bears.
Bears.
That was such a good skit from like the 80s and Saturday. Oh, actually, it was the early 90s Saturday
Yeah, it was
Night
the
Live.
late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I missed that Saturday Night Live. It was some good times.
Yeah. But all right. Should I do the whole ending in
You never
Chicago
said your
accent?
your legitimate prediction. So you think the Eagles by what? How many touchdowns?
It might be a close game. It depends on what version of the Eagles you get. If there's no injuries, let's say the Eagles 31 and the Chiefs 27.
Okay. So you're thinking a
know.
close game.
I think so.
Okay. I think
This is not going to age well.
It's not going to age well. So we already know by the time this released, so it's on tape. But I think, it's not going to age well. I'll just shut up. I think the Eagles are going to show their true colors because somebody did post that they beat the Cowboys who were depleted, and then San Francisco just, I think San Francisco, if their quarterback would have made the whole game, they would have won. But
No.
you don't think so?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Nah, you're just an Eagles fan. So, well, they beat a San Francisco team with no quarterback, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I still would have liked to seen the Bengals Eagles. That would have been a fun game.
That would have been fun. But it didn't happen.
All right. So do it like you should. Do we do it in Chicago?
It's so bad. Thank you for listening to the Smugglers Galaxy podcast. If you could, please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to podcasts, if that's allowed. It really helps us out and points people to our show. Follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. We love feedback, and we'd love to make you part of the show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo. You can find him at Rock the Force podcast. And thank you to Levi Waterhouse for the music. Hasbro re-released VC66 # vote with your wallet. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collecting community. This is the way.
The Bears. I mean, this is the way.
I remember getting off a plane, going to some training in Chicago for, I think it was Adobe Premiere, and I stop at a Subway because it's like right next to the airport, and I get my sandwich, and some guy walks in and he wants like a ham sandwich, and she's like, "What kind of bread?" And he goes, "Rye," and I'm like, "Yep, I'm in Chicago."